Hi guys, and welcome back to the Crochet Tour YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing another Tour Tries episode, and that's just where I do a pattern that someone else has designed and I just show you what I've made in the video and give you some information about the designer and what I did and didn't like about the pattern. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you this, which is this baby elephant hat, and this was designed by Sarah Zimmerman, and I got the pattern off of All Free Crochet, so obviously I'll link that down below so that if you're interested in finding out how to make this, then you can just see that pattern below. It's free as well, so you don't have to pay anything for the pattern, which is really good. And yeah, the backstory behind this is that I've got a colleague at work who's about to go on maternity leave, so I thought it would be nice to crochet her a little gift to give her for the baby. And yeah, whenever I hear someone's having a baby that I know, I always jump at the chance to make some baby crochet items because I don't often get to make them, and it's quite fun for me to look at what baby patterns are out there and make something. And actually with this, I've made this for a colleague in the past and she really liked it, so I thought, you know what, stick to what I know this is a good pattern, so I thought I'd make it again. And that was back before I had a YouTube channel, so I thought I'd actually make a video on it this time. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out more about the designer or just more about this pattern, then do keep watching the video. So as I mentioned, the pattern is available on All Free Crochet, which, as you can kind of guess from the website name, is just a website with loads of free crochet patterns on there. And as I mentioned as well, it's designed by Sarah Zimmerman, so I looked at her page on All Free Crochet and she has loads of patterns on there. Like, I think it would probably be over 100 patterns that she has on there. Most of them seem to either be baby items, or she did also have quite a lot of Christmas stuff as well, so I'll definitely bear that in mind and maybe do one of her Christmas patterns for this Christmas, but I guess that's still a while away, so yeah, I'd better make a note of that because I'm sure I'll forget by the time that rolls around. But yeah, that's sort of it about the designer. All her patterns are in English as well. And yeah, she's also on Ravelry too, so I'll probably link that down below, and she has about 5 pages worth of patterns on there too. And it looks like she has her own website too, and she does tutorials and free patterns on there as well, so it looks like she's got patterns all over the place, and they do all seem to be free from what I can see. So yeah, if you're interested in someone that has loads of free patterns, then I'd definitely check out her pages. And in terms of the pattern itself, so as I mentioned, it's completely free, and in terms of the difficulty, I would say it's easy. I can't remember whether the pattern actually said if it was for beginners or not, but I think if you know basic crochet stitches you should be able to do it. The only stitches I think that are in the pattern are single and double crochets, if I remember correctly, and it's US terminology, so the same terminology that I use in my patterns as well. And yeah, that's really it about the pattern itself. It was fairly simple, so I do think that beginners would be able to have a go at this. So in terms of what I made, again, here's the hat that I made. So I made this with a 5mm crochet hook and Aran weight yarn, and that is, I think, in line with what the pattern suggested. So I would normally use a 4mm crochet hook with my Aran weight yarn, but when you're making garments like this, it's okay for there to be a little bit of holes, so going up to that 5mm crochet hook is completely fine, and that's usually what's recommended for Aran weight yarn as well on the label on the yarn itself. So yeah, that's what I used to make this. Obviously I needed 2 colours of yarn, and then you can do whatever you want for the eyes, so I just used some black yarn because I didn't want it to be something that, you know, a baby could potentially chew on and swallow by accident or something like that, so I thought I'd just be safe and use yarn for that, but you could use whatever you want. In terms of the pattern itself, I only had to make one adjustment when I was making this, and that was just with the ears. The pattern calls for you to do 8 double crochets in a semicircle and just kind of like do rows, expanding on that outwards. I found that doing 8 gave me a bit of a strange shape to the ear, like it wasn't quite a semicircle, there was a bit more going on than that, so I ended up having to reduce the amount of double crochets by 2, so I did 6 double crochets on the first row instead, and then just continued building up sort of scaling her pattern to 6 double crochets rather than 8. So that's just one thing to mention. If you also have any issues on the ears, that might be something worth trying. But other than that, I didn't really change anything in her pattern. I did also slightly, I think, reduce the amount of chains that she suggested for the ear flaps, because I thought it was a bit too long and I didn't really like what she originally suggested. But it was so easy to change and adapt the pattern, and that always makes a good pattern in my opinion, when you can kind of customize it to what you need it to be. So yeah, those are like the two main adjustments that I ended up making. And what I liked about the pattern other than that was just that it was quite simple for the base of the hat too. So I don't really like crocheting garments, if I'm honest, most of the time. So when I saw that it was quite a simple pattern for the hat, I was really happy about that. And I hate it when patterns make you like have to measure the person's head and things like that to get the exact right size. So I prefer, I know it's not as precise, but when a pattern will just sort of list out either some size options, or I guess for a baby crochet they can just give you the sort of standard size that you would expect a newborn would need to have. So I liked that, because I don't like patterns where I need to measure stuff, because I'm quite lazy, to be honest. I also liked that because I was using the bigger hook size, this built up a lot quickly than when I'm using my 4mm crochet hook normally with my Aran weight yarn, so it took a lot less time to make. I would say that it took probably up to 10 hours to make this. That might even be an overestimate, to be honest. It was fairly quick to make. So if you don't have a ton of time, then this is quite a good pattern for you to do. If you need to make something quickly as a gift for someone, I think this would be a good pattern for you to do. Obviously you can customize the colors as well to whatever you want them to be, and as I mentioned, you don't even have to do these ear flaps, so it is included as an optional step in the pattern. So if you just want a hat with no ear flaps, you can do that as well. So as I mentioned, yeah, it's quite nice that the pattern is fairly customizable. And yeah, other than that, I just really like that it's cute, and it's not really something that you would necessarily get in the shops. I mean, I suppose there might be hats like this available, but I don't know, it just feels a little bit different and unique rather than just a plain hat. So I really like that about this. And then in terms of things that I would change about the pattern, or like any critiques that I have, I mean, it's a free pattern, so you can't really be too fussy with free patterns, but the one thing that I would have liked is if there was a bit more instructions in terms of exactly how she sewed on the ears and also the trunk to the hat. Just some more detailed instructions would have been nice, but you know, if you've made some crochet pieces before, then it's not that difficult to work out what you need to do. And also there's tons of free tutorials on YouTube that would show you how to do that, so it's not the end of the world. If you don't know how to sew things together, then you can just look up a generic video on YouTube of how to sew pieces together in crochet, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So that's going to be it for this video, really. So overall, I think this is a really good pattern. Really good that this is free, something slightly different, just not just a plain hat, you know, there's a bit more going on, and I think this would look really cute on a baby. So yeah, if you need to make crochet for your own baby, or you know someone that's having a baby, I think this is a really nice little gift to give to them, and I would definitely recommend this pattern. And I would definitely recommend checking out the designer and seeing her other patterns as well, because she's got loads of free stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.